What's up, everybody? This is Zach
and Robbie
with the Nerd Cave Podcast, episode 217. Today we're doing it live.
Yeah,
everybody.
And as you can see,
I'm glad we did it live because we would have recorded for
an hour,
something like that, and then then nothing. We would have been just there. I would have got down to the editing bay and just be like, oh.
We would have been like,
what's going on here? So we're not going to be interactive with the chat like we normally are with our live streams and everything. So just wanted to give that heads up right now that we're going to be acting like you're not there. And unfortunately, okay, just wanted to put that out there. We love you all and we thank you for coming by and watching. But as we stated when there was no mic on, we were doing it just for posterity.
Yes.
This is because of our awesome Patreon supporters that went over to patreon.com/nerdcave and supported us. And we're going to do a monthly live stream. Yeah. And today we sat down and we're like, I made the joke, do you want to do this one live? And Robbie's like, sure, why not? So we're here.
Here we are.
We're here. There is a ton of news. Let me know, Elaine, if you can hear me, though. We should be good to go. Should be good to go. Turn up your volume real quick. Yeah, we are heard now. We're heard now.
We heard.
Okay, there's a ton of news. San Diego Comic-Con's been going on.
Yes.
Disney Experience 23 went on. There's a ton of stuff. A ton of things. But we got to do some sad news first.
Unfortunately, this one hits me hard because George Romero, the first time I remember being scared as a kid because of a movie was because of Night of the Living Dead. And it went on to spark an interest in me of just trying to watch things to frighten me. I enjoy it. I
was never a horror person until Dawn.
But Night of the Living Dead introduced us to obviously the slow-paced zombies. It even had an actor that we got to interview at Pensacon. The guy that I interviewed, the tall guy who was the Transformers guy.
Oh, you're talking about Tony Todd.
Tony Todd. He was in this movie.
Yep.
He actually turned into a zombie, but as he was about to attack the female lead in the movie, it showed him recognizing her, but then they killed him. But just a great mind.
So was there sentience there? You think that's what they were communicating?
I think so. There was that they can recall things.
Yeah.
But they never went too far into it. But I mean, he had other great movies. He had Dawn of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
Just a great spooky mind.
Spooky.
That is no longer with us. Mm-hmm. So, to the friends and family of George Romero, you are in our thoughts and prayers, and we wish nothing but the best for you guys. Like I said, he impacted my life in such a way that, like I said, I love to watch scary things, and Holly does not appreciate this as much as I do. But, like I said, he's a great man, great horror mind. And it's such sad news that he is gone, but his stuff will live on.
Yes, and George Romero passed away at the age of 77 after a short battle with lung cancer. According to a statement the LA Times provided by his longtime producing partner Peter Grunwald, Romero died while listening to the score of one of his favorite films, The Quiet Man, while his wife Suzanne Romero and his daughter Tina Romero were at his side. The iconic filmmaker will be reminded behind the most influential and best-loved horror franchises of all time, which began back in 1968 with the superb Night of the Living Dead. Mm-hmm. Now, horror movies without him would be a totally different thing because horror movies were kind of like the big monster movies, Dracula, Frankenstein, The Invisible Man, Wolfman, all of that, Creature from the Black Lagoon. That was pretty much how horror movies were. And then you had Night of the Living Dead, which had changed everything.
It broke the mold, and it actually, because I watched Dracula, I watched Wolfman, I've watched those
old classics.
They have the tinge of creepiness, but it's still sometimes it's funny. When I watched this, it brought terror because my dad, I asked him, I was like 8 or 9. I'm like, Dad, can I watch Night of the Living Dead? He's like, no. He's like, it's too scary. You need to wait till you're older. It's like, okay. What did I do?
You watched it.
I went and watched it anyway. And guess what happened? Scared the mess out of me.
Scared.
But I loved it. And I loved the mind behind the movie.
Yeah.
Like I said, great mind. It's sad that it is, no longer with us, but his work will live on.
Yeah. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the Romero family. Moving on into more positive news. Avengers Infinity War, the Children of Thanos, and Infinity War Gauntlet were revealed at the D23 Expo. Earlier this week, Marvel showed all 4 mysterious statues at D23 Expo, which they promised would be revealed today, and they've delivered. If the article would work, I would show you. They look cool. Thanos is flanked by 4 members of the Black Order, who are now confirmed as being his children in the upcoming Avengers Infinity War. I'm not sure if they were his children in the books or not, but I know the Black Order has been around. There's no sign of Supergiant, but pictured below are Corvus Galvi, Proxima Midnight, the Ebony Maw, and Black Dwarf. However, it's been reported that the latter has been renamed Cull Obsidian, which doesn't sound as cool.
No.
Black Dwarf. Black Dwarf, you would think it would be like a little guy, but he's not. He's the biggest of them all.
But that's the one that I, out of all those, I remembered him the most. So, I mean, I hate that they're changing the name, but I guess it is what it is.
They're apparently a formidable-looking group, and each looks like they've been lifted straight from the comics, from Jonathan Hickman's Infinity storyline. Making them Thanos' children makes a lot more sense considering how Gamora and Nebula have been used, and we're now going to have to wait and see which big-name actors Marvel has cast as each of these sinister villains. I think they look cool. Yeah. I think it's a good way, making them his children like Gamora and Nebula gives it a little bit more basis. Maybe they know something about them, some kind of back history, because if they were his children, they must have been around at some point in time. So I'm curious to see how they all work all of that out. But I'm really excited for it. They all look amazing. And just with everything that's been going on with San Diego Comic-Con, I'm super excited for it. Just like this story right here, that Hulk has a major storyline in Avengers 3 and 4. My God, my mouse is not working. There we go. Maybe we can get it. Can we get it? Yeah, there we go.
Now, this coming after the news broke that they will not have a standalone Hulk movie, which, kind of sad because, Ruffalo.
Yeah.
Been doing a great job with the Hulk.
Yeah, has.
Definitely
absolutely amazing.
My favorite actor by far that has portrayed the Hulk. But knowing that he will have a more story in 3 and 4, kind of flesh him out a little bit more, because really all he's there. He's in the first Avengers. He helps Tony build the thing that tracks the Tesseract. And in the second movie, in both movies, he's basically just the smash guy.
Yeah, he is. And everybody is, wanting Hulk. Everybody wants Hulk. But I think not giving him the standalone movie definitely, they had to do something to work in something. And I'm sure this has been the plan for quite some time. Mark Ruffalo's Hulk will have a major storyline from Avengers Infinity War that carries into the untitled Avengers movie. Since taking over the role of Bruce Banner, a.k.a. the Hulk, in Avengers, Ruffalo has transformed the character into a beloved one within the MCU fan community. Jeez. He's been a source of consistency, great action, but also is given the opportunity to explore the inner workings of the character. And in Avengers Age of Ultron, we saw him, develop a relationship with Black Widow, that both of them have a storied past, that both of them have went through a lot of things. Yeah. But I'm curious to see where that goes, because he's launched out into space. Yep. And he's in Thor Ragnarok. And he looks great in Thor Ragnarok. He looks different too. Did you they kind of redesigned the character a little bit?
CG on it a little bit, yeah.
But having his banter back and forth between Thor and
who won? And Thor's like, "Oh, I won." He's like, "That doesn't sound right." He's like, "It wasn't even a competition."
But he was like, he's like, we're like two of the sides. He's like, Hulk fire. He's like, you water. He's like, no, I think we're more similar than that. He's like, Hulk raging fire, you smoldering ashes, or whatever. Like, that kind of stuff is going to make Ragnarok so fun. And just seeing that they're actually giving some love to the Hulk with the Avengers movie, that they're building his character up. We saw it in Age of Ultron, get to see it in the next one, and the one that's not been named yet. Yeah. Which I know originally it was going to be Infinity War Part 1 and Part 2. I don't know that they can wrap all Infinity War up in one 2.5 hour movie. I really don't think they're going to be doing a service to the movie if they try to do it all in one. That's now, scary. It might be like Infinity War and then have there's been several Infinity, I think it was Infinity Crusade or whatever, where Adam Warlock comes into play. So maybe that's what happens, because we saw in Guardians of the Galaxy that they're building Adam Warlock. He's the more perfect of that collective, Yeah. So I'm curious to see what they do with that, because there's a lot of stuff that could go on there.
One thing that I didn't know if we were moving on. No. But even in the animated shows with Hulk and Thor, the cartoons and everything like that, Thor and Hulk always had great banter. They were always fighting, joking fighting, but they were fighting nonetheless. And I think it's good that we're actually going to see that, because Chris Hemsworth and Mark Ruffalo have been great as both of these characters. Both of them are funny in their own rights. Yeah. I remember the first time in Thor when he drinks coffee, he's like, "This is great, another," and smash. Bringing that together though is going to be
even the part where they're talking and Thor lands and whatever. It's after a big moment, and then Hulk just punches him and he's flies off screen. There's always that chemistry there. So I'm glad that this is happening. I'm glad that they're bringing them together in Thor Ragnarok, and then actually giving some love to the Jolly Green Giant that is the Hulk. Now, speaking of green
things,
green things, we've been confirmed that there's going to be not only one Green Lantern in the Green Lantern movie, Green Lantern Corps, but there's going to be at least 2 Earth Green Lanterns. And that's going to be Hal Jordan and
the great John Stewart.
Yes. Now, that's interesting, because we've been slowly doled out back in the day we had the Super Friends where it was Hal Jordan. We had Hal Jordan there. And then when Justice League came around, Hal Jordan was nowhere around. We always had John Stewart. And that's what a lot of people grew up on, was John Stewart. And then we got the wonderful, I'm just talking about, it was amazing Green Lantern movie that DC put out with Ryan.
And Ryan Reynolds portrayed Hal Jordan in the way Hal Jordan is supposed to be portrayed. Mm-hmm. But he could not help that Fox just cannot make a good superhero movie.
It wasn't Fox, it was DC. Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers made that one. Okay.
Yes.
But everybody, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do.
The Daredevil movie back then, all those movies were the first wave of the superhero movies that we got, and they were just atrocious. And it's sad that that's how it's gone, because I feel like if they could have done it, wrote it out better, whatever they had to do, Ryan Reynolds could have been a great Green Lantern, but we might not have had
Deadpool. That would have been, kind of the trade-off that we might not have gotten Deadpool.
Yeah.
And that would have been the sad sad case because Deadpool was by far one of the best superhero movies that we've gotten in a long time. So I'm excited for that. I can't wait to see what they do with it. But one of the things that's been very interesting has been the story of Tyrese Gibson.
My boy.
And we've been kind of teased, and he's had, there's been a lot of people that's been pushing for him to be part of it, that's wanted him as, Jon Stewart, not Hal Jordan or Hal Leonard, the, music publishing company. And then Tyrese Gibson kind of came out, and started talking about this. And he said, I would love to do it. I've had a couple of meetings at Warner about it. I just think they're still trying to figure out what the movie is. I would love to officially confirm, but I can't. And if they go in a different direction, I think they know what's best for the movie. But the fans started this campaign, and all I've done is use my social media to let folks know I'm interested. So I know you're a big proponent of wanting Tyrese as part of this.
The only reason that I'm pushing for him to get this is because I think he is a great actor. I think he's a great comedic actor. Mm-hmm. But I always love to see actors out of their comfort zone, to see if they can adapt to a more serious, more stoic role with what Jon Stewart is, because we know him as the
I'm hungry.
Yeah.
I'm hungry.
Well, that's Tyrese, but I'm saying Jon Stewart is known as the more
serious Green Lantern.
Yeah. And that when you think of reserved, serious, none of those describe Tyrese Gibson.
No, none of them are.
But we've got to see him in a lot of really good movies, the Fast and Furious movies, and countless others. I just want to see if he has the chops to be a serious actor, because we've seen some of the great comedic actors transfer over very well to serious roles.
Yeah.
So that's my big pushing as to why I want Tyrese is, like I said, I just like to see them out of their comfort zone, and I want to see him do something new.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think somebody like, and I know this will be kind of, everybody's gonna be like, oh, well, that's a easy given, but Denzel Washington as Jon Stewart would be amazing. I doubt that he does something like that. He did do Book of Eli, which is a comic book in its own right, but I think it would be interesting to see that.
Idris Elba would be
Idris Elba would be a really good choice. That would be that's actually better than Denzel in my opinion.
Because I was just thinking, because I watched, obviously he's been in Thor. I watched that Netflix show where he's a cop, Luther.
Yeah.
And he would even have the look for it.
Yeah, he's a good choice. He's been tapped to play James Bond, or been said to be tapped to play James Bond. Anytime I see him in anything, I'm always impressed at how well he handles everything, and he's delivers line really well. So that would be exciting.
That would be a good one.
Yeah. So I think that would be better than Tyrese.
I do too, but like I said, my only pushing for him is out of the comfort zone.
You want to see more of him.
I want to see the other side.
So guys, this is for you, the people that are watching right now or listening to the Nerd Cave podcast. Loot Crate is offering an opportunity to save 10% on any new subscription at lootcrate.com. All you have to do is enter promo code BRIDGE10 for 10% savings. Now, if you're one of these people, just one of the people that's been under a rock, you thought the Holocaust has happened.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, yeah, the nuclear holocaust that is the world. And you went into a bunker. Some crazy person has kidnapped you. I've been watching Kimmy Schmidt.
Okay.
Crazy person has kidnapped you and made you think that all this has happened. And you just come out. You just come out of the bunker. You've been saved from a crazy person. And you're like, what is Loot Crate? What is all this kind of stuff? You got a lot to learn. But here's what Loot Crate is. It's a monthly subscription box for all your goodies. Everybody that missed San Diego Comic-Con, like us, we're not at San Diego Comic-Con right now. We're missing out on all the goodies.
Yeah.
It is a comic book convention in a box.
Now, what's great about this is it has... you might be a Marvel fan. Well, you'll get something Marvel here, but you'd also get stuff that you might not know what it is, but you learn something.
It intrigued you.
Get T-shirts every month.
Every month.
exclusive pop figures. I collect pop figures, so that's a big proponent as to why I love Loot Crate.
Yeah.
I love T-shirts. I love funny T-shirts. I love cool T-shirts. They have them. They have everything. We've even got Game of Thrones magnets. I got a Direwolf
USB drive before.
The Princess Bride playing card, like actual cards for like Texas Hold'em and stuff. I mean, just a lot of really cool stuff comes out of Loot Crate.
And that's all. Like, that's $20. Like, the T-shirt is worth $20, in my opinion. Now, you have until the 19th. It's already past the 19th for this month. It's done. Jack, you're out of luck at this point in time. But guess what? Next month is ready to go. You can go ahead and jump on that train. Yeah. Get on that train. And ride it.
Choo-choo.
Now, you have until the 19th at 9 p.m. Pacific time to subscribe and receive that month's crate. And when the cutoff happens, it's over. It's gone. That train has left the track. You have to wait for the next one.
But there's always another train.
There's always another train. By supporting Loot Crate, you're supporting this channel, this podcast, and everything we do. So sign up over at trylootcrate.com/nerdcave and enter the code BRIDGE10, BRIDGE 1010, and get your subscription 10% off. There you go. Hope you do that. Everybody enjoy it. Go get some free. Not free necessarily, but 10% off. We got some other free stuff we can give y'all.
The Flash, the movie that is going to be coming out with Ezra Miller.
The standalone.
The standalone movie has a name.
Yes.
It is a name that both Zach, myself, and Derek all love. Flashpoint.
Yes.
This is one of the best stories DC has put out.
Yeah.
In my opinion. I love it. I love the idea of Barry Allen going back in time to save his mother. And what does that do? Ripple. It starts a time ripple. And guess what? Everything changes.
Yeah, everything changes. And this is based off of the extremely popular comic book series that after it finished, it relaunched the DC titles. Like, it started the New 52.
It was by Jeff Johns.
Yeah, Jeff Johns. And which is funny, Jeff Johns is like the head of the DC extended universe now over the movies and everything. So I think having the Flash, do this, go the Flashpoint route.
He knows it.
He knows it. And I'm sure he helped pin the now no longer being used Batman story, but him knowing every little detail, because he came up with the details for this, is going to be awesome. We saw it in a way in the Flash TV show, but it was only kind of a
real brief.
It was real brief and only like a half step of what it actually is. And
it was crazy in the comic and the animated show.
Yeah. And if you don't know, guys, if you didn't watch last week's episode, our animation superstation pick for the month is Flashpoint Paradox. We called it. We didn't really call it, but it's kind of a coinky dink.
But it works.
But yeah, so if you want to kind of get a glimpse into what they could be doing for the movie, I'm sure they won't stay exactly the same, but we're going to be going over the animated film that is Flashpoint Paradox. And just to give you a slight rundown, so he goes back in time, saves his mother, and everything starts changing. Bruce Wayne, not Batman.
He died in the alley instead of his mom and dad.
Yeah. Like, that's crazy right there.
Yeah, that changes so much.
Superman doesn't land in
Little Kansas.
Yeah, he lands in the middle of Metropolis and causes a huge crater. So it's all of these things, just little things, like it shifted time just a little bit. That bullet got shifted a little bit and hit Bruce Wayne. Superman's ship from Krypton got shifted and hit in the middle of Metropolis.
And what's crazy is he doesn't end up being Superman. He keeps, I think it's Argus that takes him, and they keep him in a deep, dark hole.
Deep, dark hole.
Deep dark hole.
Deep dark hole. So that's exciting for me that they're actually going to go that way, and I hope that it makes its way to the big screen as close as possible. There's even rumors that the man that played Negan will be Thomas Wayne in this because he was Thomas Wayne in the beginning of Batman versus Superman.
Now, I will go off of this. I'm not going to tell you what it is because I want you to watch it yourself and no other nerds. Don't spoil it for people. But if you have not watched anything or heard anything about Flashpoint Paradox, I just want to see what your opinion is on what Mommy and Daddy Wayne do after their son's dead.
Yeah, so it's going to be so awesome. I can't wait to get that and just be sitting there. And, I never thought it would be a big screen adaptation of this. And even when they did the animated version of it, I was surprised and ecstatic. And now they're going to actually do that. So I am super, super stoked.
Jeff Johns just wrote it immaculately. It's beautifully done.
Yes, and continuing on the animated movies, we got an update on one that is fixing to be coming out in the near future. DC animated movies will include a 2-part Death of Superman, and there will be some Suicide Squad stuff as well. On that part, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, Suicide Squad was not the greatest, but
it's kind of played itself out at this point in time, in my opinion. So reading this, I'll put a little image up there. DC's animated movies continue going from strength to strength, with Batman and Harley Quinn set to be released next month, and Batman Gotham by Gaslight on track for 2018, which we talked about that last week. So that title has been officially confirmed and now has a few more which are on the way. That's going to be everything's dying on me over here. They're following spring 2018 Suicide Squad Hell to Pay, Task Force X, first movie set in the animated universe, which we sort of got that with Assault on Arkham.
Such a good one.
That was a very good one. And then Harley Quinn seeing her popularity grow from the Arkham games to the actual Suicide Squad movie to Assault on Arkham has kind of built it where she's getting it with Batman and Harley Quinn now. Mm-hmm. Perhaps the most exciting though is the fact that late 2018 will see the release of Death of Superman. That's going to be part 1 with part 2, Reign of the Superman, set for release in 2019. Apparently, this will be a more faithful take on the classic story than the one in 2007's Superman Doomsday.
Now, I like this because this gives you a whole different look on Superman. Mm-hmm. It's not the blue, yellow, red. It is he is in black. He has super long, flowing, Fabio-like hair. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just a completely different take on Superman.
So I'm wondering how close this will be to what we're getting in the movies, because Superman will eventually come back in the movie universe.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, sorry, spoilers here. But it's interesting because they're going the route of the reign of the Superman, Supermen, because we had... When Superman died, there were several people that took up the mantle. There were some robots. There was a guy named Diesel. If you remember that really bad Shaq movie, that was actually based off of that character becoming that. So it's interesting to see that they're going this route, since we did have the 2007 one, Doomsday, which was pretty good. Yeah. But I'm liking what they're going to do here is actually go more based off of the comic series that was put out back in the 90s.
Do you think we see him in black with long hair?
Oh, I do. I don't see why they wouldn't, because that's such an iconic thing.
What about the Justice League? Do you think he'll be black and white in that one?
If they don't do that, I think they're missing out.
A great opportunity.
Yeah, I think they go black and silver though instead of white.
Yeah,
just put it's that kind of monotone look that they are more going towards. Have you saw the Justice League trailer?
Yeah, the
new one that came out
from San Diego.
Yeah, I like what they did with it. They gave a little bit more on the story that the mother boxes are bringing stuff from Apocalypse. Mm-hmm. That they didn't really show the villain face wise, but they did show the villain kicking some tail. That is really, really cool to me. Ezra
Miller, I think, is going to be hilarious in this. He's like, I never really fault anybody. I just run really fast and push people.
I love that too. Like, there's humor there, and I'm
Yeah.
glad that that's that way. Like, everything looks really, really good. And what was interesting to me is that they put out, you can't fight alone or whatever. They put out this poster, but it looked like Kingdom Comes covers with Alex Ross, but we actually had like the people that are playing it, and I love that. Like,
Yeah.
Alex Ross is my favorite cover artist, and doing that Kingdom Come style with our
Like seeing their symbols in it too was
Yeah.
just amazing.
So I am just like, oh, I cannot
can't
get enough.
I can't wait for it, but I am still scared a little bit as to how much they have to fit into a movie.
Yeah, and I'm sure we're not going to get a ton of origin stuff from Cyborg or Aquaman. That's going to be left up for their movies, because
Yeah.
Cyborg is still on track. Those are quotation marks, everybody. Still on track. I don't think it actually happens. I really don't, unless he pops in this movie. If he pops in November, like, everybody is in love with him, he'll get his own movie. If he doesn't, then they'll double down on the Green Lantern stuff.
And I think they'll push more into the Aquaman movie.
Yeah, they'll definitely get deep in Aquaman. Get it? Water, guys, water. If you didn't get it, but what's very interesting is the last scene with Alfred.
Oh, when he's like, "I'll take over," or are you talking about something else?
No, like, he told me that you'd show up eventually, or something like that.
Oh,
Like, people were like, it had like this boom and everything, but there's people saying there was like a green tint on Alfred's glasses, so they're thinking that it's probably a Green Lantern that is going to be coming in, because the voiceover says you have no lantern, you have no Kryptonian. Like, it's talking about that. I don't think they bring. I think they're bringing back Superman, but I think it's going to be like the last 10 minutes they bring Superman back. I think the Green Lantern shows up in this,
yeah.
and then Superman comes back and like finishes out the fight.
Which Green Lantern?
It's going to probably be Hal. I feel that it would be Hal, and then we get John.
Yeah,
But I think it'll be Hal before anything else.
it would make sense.
And they're going to recast Hal. Like, they're not going to get Ryan Reynolds back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I gave up hope on that a long time ago.
Yeah, and I wish Chris Pine wouldn't have been Trevor Stark. What is it? No, Trevor. Oh, God. You know what I'm talking about.
The
He's in the movie.
Wonder Woman.
Yes, with Wonder Woman. Trevor. Is it Stark? Trevor Stark? No.
I think so.
Whatever.
Trevor.
If he wouldn't have been him, he would have been a perfect pick for Hal Jordan, because he's got the cocky air to him and everything, and that would have been awesome.
Brad Pitt.
No, Brad Pitt's old. I'm sorry.
It's a joke.
Like, even Ben Affleck is like, oh, I'm too, like, Warner Brothers, like, he's too old to like base a whole thing off of him. I'm like, y'all just need to just calm down and try to get a Batman movie out before y'all try to pick a new Batman.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to be in his mid 50s before he gets a trilogy out, or even the first one out.
Yeah.
But you picked him. You put this on his shoulder, so you need
Better
to
do it.
Yeah, and Jared Leto is not even confirming that he's going to stick around, which is not a bad thing in my opinion.
I really didn't mind his portrayal. Now that I'm thinking, each iteration of the Joker that we've seen in the movies, from
Jack Nicholson,
Heath Ledger, they've all been different.
Yeah, they have all been different.
But not the street thug gangster one. But,
Yeah.
I mean, I understand they're trying to evolve the character, but I think this one was just more like psychotic than all the other ones.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if he sticks around, but I'm not sure that he will.
If he doesn't, I mean, it's not going to hurt my feelings.
No,
I mean, I think that they could do much better.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, as the actor, he was great, but as the way he looked, I think that's where everybody got the biggest part of their
Matt
problem.
Smith would be the perfect Joker.
He would be good.
He would be perfect.
He would be good.
That's what I'm saying. Now, continuing on with comics, but shifting some gears. This was exciting.
I was trying to turn away from the brand.
Oh, gotcha. Telltale has announced three new games, including Wolf Among Us 2. Telltale is going to be at San Diego Comic-Con this weekend, but what they were bringing was a mystery until now. Ahead of the convention proper, the developer has announced sequels to 3 of its most popular series, including A Wolf Among Us 2, which I'm glad that they finally said. We've been waiting for too freaking long for that game. I am glad that it's here.
Just a little bit.
And then the other new games will be Batman, The Enemy Within. What is this? XCOM. That's what they put. And then The Walking Dead, the final season. All of these games will be debuting on PC, Mac, PS4, Xbox One with mobile ports to follow, though only Batman will be releasing this year with its debut coming on August 8th, which is not very long from now. Only a few days, actually, about a week or two. Both The Walking Dead and The Wolf Among Us 2 will launch sometime in 2018. Each series will be 5 episodes long, and Batman will be heading to retail with a season pass disc that contains the first episode and download voucher for the remaining 4. How fun. As for specifics on each new season, The Walking Dead will focus on Clementine yet again, and the new Batman season will feature the Riddler, which I am excited to see. The first season is dealing with Cobblepot, which is the penguin and everything, and the Joker, with an option to import saves from the first season, much like The Walking Dead. While I'm not... and what's interesting, they went to Reddit, not very long ago, and said that there will not be a Wolf Among Us 2 soon. But then they come out and say this. So I don't know if they were like being literal that it's not coming soon, or that it's, they were just trying to throw people off the trail.
That very well could have been, because, a lot of people, because A Wolf Among Us 2 is a big deal. Mm-hmm. So they could have been just trying to be like, not really, guys. But then be like, oh, guess what, guys? It's true. Yeah. So a lot of times they do that.
Yeah. So I'm excited. Getting to play as Bigby again is going to be really fun. I loved the setup that they have in the first season. That's probably my favorite Telltale game, just because of the music. Everything that was about that game was excellent. So I can't wait to jump back in there with Bigby and Snow White and everything. The end of it was just amazing. Walking Dead, I haven't finished the New Frontier, and it started pretty good. I haven't finished it, so I can't say what my complete feelings are. And then you get Batman, which I'm playing through that right now. I'm trying to finish it up before I go back to work full time, and I'm enjoying it, but I'm not enjoying it as much as I thought I would, because Telltale seems to be playing its formula a lot. Yeah. And I love the stories and everything, but I wish they would push a little bit more to be innovative. Like you look at Don't Nod with Life is Strange, like head and shoulders above what they're doing here. So I'm just hoping, you looked at, I'm just doing another parallel here. You have Supermassive that did Until Dawn, and then you have Quantic Dreams that did Heavy Rain. Until Dawn, tramples anything that Quantic Dream has done for a while. I'm hoping that Detroit Become Human has definitely improved on it, since they've seen, what can be done in this day and age and everything. So I'm just, looking forward to what Telltale can do. I just hope they keep refreshing the formula, because Game of Thrones was a little boring.
It gets stagnant after a while, but I think that they will figure something out.
They got to make that engine run better. I know they're trying to make it run on everything, but you can make it optimized to run cleaner than it is. And that's my biggest point is, always keep improving. They've got amazing stories, but it is janky as mess.
Oh, yeah.
And
definitely chugs.
Yeah, it definitely does. And one was interesting. We got PC, Mac, PS4, Xbox One, but no mention of the Switch. No mention of the Switch.
Does that scare you? I mean, as someone who owns a Switch, I know you're not a Nintendo fanboy by any stretch of the imagination, but if you were a fanboy of Nintendo, would you be a little scared?
Not really, because I didn't buy my Switch to play Telltale games on it. they put it on everything, so I'm expecting them to show up on the Switch.
Yeah.
Because, they put it on your phone. They put it on, anything that can, play it. They've killed off their support for the Vita. So I think they, captured that.
Yeah.
Community again with the Switch. So I see we get that confirmed very soon, but it is a little like, what's happening here?
Yeah.
So I'm hoping for that. Now, one thing that we saw from D23 that was exciting. I wasn't expecting it, was not, prepared for it. Mm-hmm. And this happened like right after we recorded last week's episode. Square Enix reveals Kingdom Hearts 3's Toy Story World and release window. And if you haven't seen the trailer, you can check it over on our Facebook page.
Watched it in Japanese. So freaking hilarious to hear Goofy's voice talking in Japanese.
Yeah, it's so strange, like having like all these characters and you're like expecting Tim Allen's voice to come out of Buzz Lightyear, and it's not, and it's just like, what is going on? The wait is nearly over. Fans have been waiting for Kingdom Hearts 3 for years, 13 to be exact, when it comes out. And today Square Enix has announced that it will be releasing next year in 2018 at D23 Expo. Square has also showed off the game's first Pixar world, which is Toy Story themed. In the trailer, we see Sora, Donald, Goofy, and Andy's room, all dressed as toys. Later, the trio battle outside of Andy's house, and you can watch the trailer again on our Facebook page. Now, I like that, again, they're keeping the style of once they go into the world, they are transformed to be part of that world, to kind of fit in. So they're like toys when they went to The Little Mermaid, Atlantis and everything. In the first game, there were, mermen and everything. So I really enjoyed that. Now, what gets me is like there's some definitely new combat going on here. It's very interesting, very, very fast as always, but it seems like it's even faster.
Yeah.
And your keyblade is changing again depending on what world you're in. What did you think about the gameplay?
I'm very excited to get into it. I mean, Toy Story is one of my favorite Disney movies. So as someone who's unfortunately never played a Kingdom Hearts game, and I know it's a shock to a lot of people.
It's okay. I've never played Final Fantasy or a Zelda game until Breath of the Wild, so there you go.
It happens. But I'm very excited to get into this one. Like you said, the thought of it changing into each world you go into is something that's amazing in itself. But just seeing your favorite Disney characters like Goofy, like Donald, I mean, you see Buzz Lightyear and Woody and all. I think it's gonna bring back nostalgia.
Yep.
Like those feels of when you were a kid, introduced into a new game.
I agree 100%, and I love that they're doing this. And it's been said that there's going to be fewer worlds in this one, possibly DLC that would come later to add more worlds, which I'm not a fan of personally. I would rather have all of it, in one package. But it seems like our gaming industry is going this way, that, we're going to eventually get the full game down the road through DLC and patches and all of that kind of stuff. But I like that they're finally, and which was very weird that this is the first time a Pixar movie is in one of these. We've gotten Hercules, we've gotten all of this kind of stuff, and we're getting Hercules again, it looks like, in this movie, in this game. So I just hope that they do a good job of explaining the story, that most people, this is going to be 13 years since they played 2, and they didn't play any of the games in between because they didn't make any sense. And I hope they do a good job of explaining the story that's going on, because
you also have people who it's been 13 years, so you're going to have a lot of new players starting with 3.
Yeah, so, games that do really well at this has been the new Assassin's Creed. I think it's going to do a good job of it. Fallout 4 did a good job of it. So you've got to be able to bring people in for the first time and not expect them to know everything, but also not, hold everybody's hand.
Yeah.
So I'm just hoping that Square Enix will they got to toe the line here. They can't just, make, we got this one, we got this one. I'm also curious to see what other worlds we're going to get.
Yeah. Ooh. I'm trying to think of some good ones.
I'd love to see some Star Wars and some, Avengers stuff and all of that, but don't think we'll get any of those.
I don't either. Do you think we'll see any of like the newer age Disney stuff?
I think Wally would be really cool.
Wally would be really cool.
But it's a plant. You know what I mean? Like it's not that much, going on other than trying to secure this or whatever. But I think Wally would be an interesting universe to explore. Cars would be interesting in its own way. I think they would have to do a lot to make that combat work.
Yeah.
In there, I could possibly see Frozen.
I was about to say, do they stick strictly to like Disney Pixar? But I mean,
no, I think that they're going to go in animation and everything as well.
Now, I mean, Moana had some interesting people to fight.
That would be cool. Moana would be a good one.
I mean, because you have the coconut guys.
Got the lava thing.
I'd rather be shiny.
The crab.
The crab.
The crustacean.
I can never remember his name. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of worlds that they could go into.
Oh, yeah, I agree. And, they've not, I've not only just got stuff that's come out recently, they've got stuff that, they have not explored before. So that's what's, I can't wait to see what is actually going to be in the game.
Yeah.
Because they haven't given us a ton. We've seen stuff that's with Hercules now. We've seen stuff with Toy Story. We've already seen Hercules before in the game. So I hope we get one or two more worlds.
Newer worlds.
Yeah, that we haven't been in before.
Yeah. Would be definitely interesting.
There's also the possibility that we get more than one playable character, which is Sora. There's hints and rumors that there might be a second playable character in the game. And that would be interesting because in the second one, we got a different character that we played at the beginning, and then we eventually got to Sora and everything. But I think that's right. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments below.
It has been 13 years.
It has been quite some time since I played it. So I know a lot of people were really excited to get to play a different character that, they love Sora, but they're also wanting some other things. So that does it for the news. But our final segment, each and every week, we have a rotating fourth segment that goes on our podcast. We have, for the first week of every month, shout out to Netflix. The second week, we have Time for Comics. The third one is Book Club We Read. And the fourth one is Animation Superstation. And if it's anime, we call it the Weeaboo Watch. Like Animation Superstation, Weeaboo Watch. So we've already assigned We Read, which is going to be Thrawn by Timothy Zahn.
Yep.
And then Animation Superstation, like we mentioned previously, is chosen for
Flashpoint Paradox.
Yes. So I know when this releases, it won't be the first week of August, but it's close enough. It'll all work out because there's more weeks in this month than there is in the next one. So shout out to Netflix. And I know we didn't talk about this, but I got two options here, and I'll let you decide.
We'll talk.
Okay.
What you got?
Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. Freaking hilarious.
Okay.
It is so good. There's 3 seasons, and it goes by really, really fast. I wouldn't say all 3 seasons, but the first season it goes by very quickly. Or there's a stand-up comedy series called Stand Ups, and it is hilarious. So what do you got?
I like stand-up comedy a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I think stand-up will be a good one.
Let me make sure that's what it's called real quick. I'm going to go ahead and tell everybody, do not watch Nikki Glaser's stand-up. It's awful.
It is?
It is awful.
That is sad.
But the rest of them, I want to say, let me look up what she looks like real quick. And then I'll tell you. Yeah, she's awful. She was so bad. We stopped it. Me and Amy stopped it.
Really?
When we were watching it. So skip hers. So you have Let me pull up their list again. You have Nate Bargatz. He's pretty good. Fortune Fimster, Dion Cole, Beth Stelling, and Dan Sauter. Fortune and Beth are hilarious.
Okay.
Dion has a very interesting way of doing his stand-up. It's awkward at first, but like by the end you get there, it is so good. It is worth the payoff.
That name sounds familiar. Does he do it without a shirt?
No. It's not the machine guy.
Okay.
But it is very, very good and worth the watch. So, yeah, there's our pick for shout out to Netflix called The Stands Up.
You have now we got the stand-ups.
Mm-hmm.
We have Thrawn and Flashpoint Paradox. So guys, go ahead and jump on those.
Mm-hmm.
They're all great. We would not lead you astray here. So go ahead, get on it.
Mm-hmm. And then next week we will unveil our
comic.
And we'll get all of this worked out. I know it right now. It's like that isn't going to fit in the.
We're in fluctuation.
We're fit in the timeline because you look at a calendar. It's like that doesn't make any sense. But it will all work out. It's all going to work out. It might not be the first whatever. It's going to be good.
It'll fit into that time.
Yeah,
we're good.
There'll be one for each week, regardless. But I'm excited for it because it's a different thing that we're doing. It's something that we're trying to do, get more people interacting in and everything. So I'm looking forward to seeing what everybody thinks about Thrawn when we start discussing that. We've only got 2 more weeks before we get to discuss that on the podcast, and we'll dive deep and we'll want your interaction with it and everything. And if you want to get Thrawn and you want to get it for free, I'm going to throw this out here. You can go to our audibletrial.com/nerdcave and get it for free. Mm-hmm. That way you're not spending anything. And then the following week we'll talk about Flashpoint Paradox, and the week after that
we'll pick a new book. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about
pick a new book, and then the next week we'll talk about Flashpoint, and then we'll pick a new animation, and then we'll talk about the stand-ups, and we'll pick a new thing for shout-out for Netflix, and then whatever we pick for comics, we'll talk about it, and then pick a new one. So there's a lot of stuff going on, and it's all going to be fun because you're on along with the ride.
Oh, yeah. That's the best part.
It is. So again, guys, thanks to everybody that watched. I know this was like an unannounced live stream. We're just kind of like, hey, we're going to do it.
We threw it out there.
Next time it'll be planned. We'll have a planned live stream for the Nerd Cave podcast instead of like, hey, next week's going to be weird, trying to get everything done in one weekend. So we did it this weekend just to make sure it happened.
Oh, yeah.
Because we wanted it to happen for you. And we have to give a thanks to our Patreon supporter, Caleb Palmer. He went over to patreon.com/nerdcave, went over there, tossed us a bunch of dollars. So did a bunch of other people because they're awesome and they're supporting us. That keeps the lights on. That supports us. That makes us grow. It helps so much. You have no idea. So we really, really appreciate your support and that you are one of our Patreon supporters. And shout out again to Derek Daniel for gathering all of these stories up and said, hey, here are the stories. And it made my job a lot easier. I just read through the stories.
Thanks, man. We appreciate it.
We appreciate it, except for that one time you spoiled Arrow for me.
You'll never live it down.
He will never live it down. He will be shunned every day. So again, shame. Oh yeah, Game of Thrones tonight.
I'm excited.
It's going to be awesome.
We record this on Sunday, by the way.
Yeah, we do. So if you didn't watch it live, thanks for watching it on the replay. Thanks to the ones that watched it live. This has been Zach.
And Robbie.
Have a week. If you enjoyed that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you want gaming content, you can go over to Nerd Cave Gaming right there. If you want to support us, you can check out Patreon right there. If you want more videos, check them out right here. Go ahead, pick one of them. I wonder which one you're going to do. If you're going to be cool, you'd pick any of them. All 4 of them. You'd be awesome.